Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome out here once again for the North-South Racing League's ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series here this evening, and we're proud to bring you all tonight's racing action. It is none other than Upstate Al bringing you all the action alongside our friend from north of the border, Kelly Dahl. And Kelly, we're here in Irwindale. The Western Swing has started with 37 street stockers here for the ZooFab Street Stock Series, checking in for night number 2 for the ZooFab Street Stock Series.
Yeah, and I've been really looking forward to this one. Last week it came right down to the wire, pretty much a photo finish even after 200 laps around North Wilkesboro. So now here at Irwindale, 125 laps up on the clock, but these drivers are going to have to fight to even get a starting position tonight because we have so many people here that have shown up to enter this one.
That they are, and coming in here tonight, we have a lot of familiar faces atop of the scoring pylon. Leading it is the most winningest driver here at the Irwindale Speedway in NSRL history, and that is none other than Dante Curtis, who has 3 wins here at the season. The number of races coming in here, this will be race number 8 that the NSRL has visited Irwindale with, and it has been 3 times Dante Curtis, 5 street stocks, 1 super late model, and 1 late model stock races until tonight. And while tonight will be race number 8. Should be a good time here, 125 laps in distance, but first we must qualify, and qualifying, getting ready to set up our draw here tonight as we get ready to go with tonight's qualifying session, and we'll find out who is going to set the fast time and the first car up onto the racetrack. Well, that would be none other than the number 51 of Frisch, and he is going to come across the stripe. We'll see what kind of lap times we're going to get here tonight. Remember, Dante Curtis set fast time in practice. We're going to see who will be inside the top 8 here tonight to get into tonight's RC2 Promotions redraw.
And we got to watch the bottom end of this field as well, as we will only be taking 26 directly from qualifying. Everyone else will have to race for those final 4 starting spots, but first times coming up on the board right now. Adam Gable running that fast time with a 19.711. More time still filtering in as these drivers go through here. A couple drivers trying out a few different lines. I'd expect the fast line though here tonight to be up high, past or above that dotted line.
Yeah, right now they are vying for the Doloweiser Fast Time Award out there right now, and it is Travis Hoffler out on the front of this one, the number 20 car setting fast time currently. As we look at the fast times, now it'll be Randy Nichols jumping to the top. Ryan Johnson in the 38, a 19.51, so time's coming in fast and heavy. We're getting close to that cutoff point, Kelly. 23 cars have taken time. Here's Jesse Womack out onto the racetrack, just getting ready to set his time. And we got a lot of drivers that are on the outside looking in. Remember, we got that LCS that'll come up after qualifying before we get to the RC2 promotion. There is everybody vying for that Doloweiser Pole Award. It's the first setting fast time here tonight.
Yeah, we are getting close to the 26 that we are going to lock in. Time is ticking away. We got under 3 minutes left in qualifying. Large number of drivers have taken their times. I believe there has been 24 that have put their time in so far, and a few more just maybe waiting to see what these other drivers do before they head out there.
Good to see Philip Martin out on the racetrack. Had back surgery just a few weeks ago, and now up on the racetrack making his first start of the ZooFab Street Stock Series this season. And Martin going to go 18th quick. And right now, Matt Allen in this, well, just said it, he was on there. How about Dan Janjanin, the namesake of tonight's race here, is sitting on the hot seat right now, and he'll get bumped. Now, Don Schumann on the bump as Rodney Huntoon out on the racetrack along with this man, Jordan Madron, in car number 68. We'll see what kind of lap times they get.
Yeah, pretty much every time we bring up someone being on the bubble, they are getting bumped here as fast times are taken away. Guillaume Fortin goes second fastest at the moment. with a 19.522, just a little bit off of Ryan Johnson with that 19.518. Guillaume just trying to send it through 3 and 4, but got a little bit loose, so he's going to call it there.
Only a handful of cars left to go. And remember last week's winner, Ryan Johnson, who sits top of the scoring pylon. He is going to have to start 30th here tonight, Kelly, as he will be the recipient of the shotgun rule that they have. Scott Austin going to go 8th quick here as we watch Dante Curtis up onto the racetrack. And remember, this is the winningest driver here at the Irwindale Speedway in NSRL history. He's out there with that black and purple number 03, looking to see what kind of lap time he can set in qualifying, as that is about to wind down. Curtis up off of turn number 4, and at the line, Curtis is going to go P1 for Dante Curtis in the 03. He will go P1.
That is nearly everyone. I think there's only one driver left to set a time, and if he doesn't get out there soon, he's not going to get it done because we are past the 4-minute 30 time elapsed with a 5-minute in this 5-minute qualifying session. So I think it's fairly safe to say that Dante Curtis will be taking home the P1 award.
Yeah, he'll be taking that Doloweiser Pole Award here tonight as he set fast time with a 19.50. And just about a half a second separating first to 37th here tonight, Kelly. And that just tells you how close this field is. We're in store for a really good night of racing as, we'll have the LCS coming up to lock in our final 4 as we take 26 directly in to tonight's main event. And this is our first LCS of the season. But congratulating Dante Curtis with the Doloweiser Award. And that belongs from Matt Dula. We want to thank Matt Dula, as proud owner of the Doloweiser, located in Columbus, Ohio. Cold brews, good times, political conversations, and of course, the drink of choice of the races. Doloweiser is the official drink of the NSRL. Doloweiser asks all drivers to please drink responsibly. Well, with that being said, Kelly, it is time to head down for our starting grid for tonight's last chance qualifier, or last chance showdown, whatever you want to call it. It'll be Mark Keeler on the pole. Outside of him, Rex Hoyle in car number 54. John Cross and Jason Dinsmore will make up row number 2. Row number 3 will be Colton Smith and Josh Cole. Starting 7th will be Thomas Frisch in that number 51. Don Schumann in the 11 will roll off 8th. 9th will be Dan Janjanin and Matt Allen. Starting 10th, Joshua Suss and Austin Williams will be your 12 cars out there vying for those final 4 transfer spots, Kelly. And this is going to be a barn burner. This is all the drivers that were locked into that top 26 are going to watch this race. Normally, Irwindale, a top feeding track. But we're going to see. And how about the namesake? Dan Janjanin, 22. The rest of them are going to go 125. He has got a long way to go to even make it into tonight's main event. But Mark Keeler, Rex Hoyle up on the front row. We're about ready to see our first green flag of the afternoon at Irwindale. And green is up, and we are underway.
Bit of a bump there from the 10 of Jonathan Cross, trying to just urge Mark Keeler on as the car is going to go 3 wide. The 42 of Colton Smith stuck in the middle of that 51. Jonathan Frisch going all the way to the bottom. Rex Hoyle getting loose up on the top. Drivers all scrambling for those top 4 positions as we come around to complete lap number 1 there. 3 wide. The 42 goes around. Colton Smith spun right around off of turn 4. I think the car is okay, so he'll get that thing refired and get back into the race, but that is going to knock him all the way back to the tail end of this field.
Yeah, the number 42 going to go tail side of this one as yellow flag flies with 1 lap complete into the books. Let's take a look back here and see what caused him to go around. He was racing there 3 wide, just got on the brakes there. And, maybe a little bit of a love tap there from Dan Janjanin. And around will go the 42 and Dan Janjanin. Well, his night going a little bit harder, as he's going to go back to that number 11 spot.
Yeah, Dan Janjanin going to be sent to the back of the field for being involved in that, or for claiming the cause of that caution. So he will slot in behind Colton Smith. Those two guys are going to have a long way to go to get themselves back up to the front. But there's, as we mentioned, they are fighting for these top 4 positions. There is only 15 laps, and it looks like cautions will not count here, as we've only completed lap number 1. We'll get these guys resorted here, get them refired, and we'll see if we can get these last 14 laps in.
Yeah, they all have the last chance showdowns here this evening. Laps will not count. 15 laps or 15 minutes, whichever comes first. A lot of fast drivers in this. This could be any of these drivers could have been in the A main. That's how tight the field was. One little slip up in time trials, well, that makes your night a little bit longer. Mark Keeler and Rex Hoyle will stay up on the point now. The 62 of Jason Dinsmore should roll up on the outside of the number 10 of Cross.
So that means Dinsmore going to be on the bubble right now. He is on that cut line, so keep an eye on the 10 of the 62. But the 08 of Keeler gets a jump right off the bat, and that caught Rex Hoyle sleeping. He was not ready for that restart, and that is going to cost the whole outside line as he loses a ton of ground. These guys once again start going 3 wide into turn number 1. The 74 of Matthew Allen in the middle. Look at the 85 of Austin Williams going all the way to the bottom, trying to get himself through. Not quite going to work. That high side just carrying a little too much momentum. And now another wreck in 3 and 4. Number of cars going around. Once again, the 42 spinning it as he tried to avoid those other 3 drivers that had got loose in the entry of turn 3.
Yeah, right there. Looks like Colton Smith, Joshua Suss involved. Mark back there as well. Cole is in the pit area, but let's take a look back here and see once again. Everybody's vying for position, and right now the track really, really wide. Excuse me. See right there, the 80 car of Joshua Suss working to the inside. He got to the left rear quarter panel of Janjanin, and they make contact, and around he will go. The 42 just goes around hitting the brakes and just lost it, Kelly, trying to avoid that wreck. And well, everybody will be able to continue on, it looks like. And Mark Keeler saying, I like this. How about Rex Hoyle went from 2nd to 4th on that start.
Yeah, I don't think he realized that the race start was going to be in control of the race leader, and that meant that Mark Keeler got a huge jump over Rex Hoyle. He was just caught sleeping as Keeler left early. I mean, the ruling is as soon as the pace car is away and off of the racing surface, you can go, and it's quite early here at Irwindale. That pace car comes into the pit entry right before turn 3, so really, Mark Keeler has a ton of time to choose when he wants to jump.
The initial green is, everyone has to wait for that, but after that is up to leader's discretion. Well, we got a moment. I want to thank our title sponsor, the ZooFab Garage. ZooFab Garage is located in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. ZooFab Garage is your one-stop shop for fabricating and power on your performance vehicle, track car, or street car. Find them on Facebook to contact them and start your next project today. I'd also like to thank Kelly's Custom Engraving, which is a locally owned and operated business in Belleville, North Carolina, specializing in custom engraving of wood, leather, glass, acrylic, and many more materials. Be sure to follow them and like them on Facebook to see all their amazing products. Place your order today. What are you buying me, Kelly?
Well, right as we were talking about here, the lights are coming out on a pace car. Looks like the drivers are going to immediately go around the choose cone. So Mark Keeler electing to go on the outside. Thomas Frisch is going to move himself up to the inside of row number 1, but it's still going to be Keeler in control of this race start. And there he goes in turn 3 once again. He's going to try to rock it off. However, that 51 with that inside line, he's going to get a good run through turn 4, and they're going to be completely even up crossing the line there.
13 laps to go. Now Frisch going to put the 51 up to the nose out front. Crossover move down the backstretch in the turns numbers 3 and 4. Keeler down to the inside. And if you're a Frisch or Keeler, don't really want to race overly hard. Whoa, trouble with the 74 of Matt Allen. Almost got turned into the outside Armco. And they are 3 wide. Dinsmore going to get touched. He'll go sideways, spin back up in front of the field, and we are underneath the yellow flag once again as Dinsmore just made a little bit of a door slap through turns 1 and 2 as they were 3 wide, and he will go around the 74 down on pit road, Colton Smith. And he's got some smoke billowing, a lot of damage to that 42 car.
Yeah, now we are getting close to this time limit. 6 minutes left in this LCQ. It does not look like we are going to go the full distance on laps unless we can get a quick caution here, go green the rest of the way. So this is going to be a little bit, it's really going to come down to the choices in the lanes and how well they're going to get the jumps on these restarts. Yeah. Thomas Frisch really paid off for him as he chose that inside lane and watched Mark Keeler jump, and as soon as Keeler fired, he had that inside line, so he was able to get the better run through 3 and 4 and get himself actually ahead of Keeler coming out of 2.
Yeah, the driver out of Beloit, Michigan, in that 51 car, leading it as we go on board with the RC2 Promotions onboard camera, looking over the right shoulder and out the back side of the ZooFab garage camera as well. He's going to choose the inside once again, Kelly. 74 of Allen going to go with them as well as they go through the Austin Designs choose cone.
So that means Jonathan Cross, Matthew Allen going to be those 2 drivers on the bubble right now. Keeler and Frisch on the front row. Pace car down in the way. Frisch in control this time. See when he is going to elect to fire off here. Where's the green flag? Still waiting, the 51 waiting a little bit longer, and there he's going to get a good launch off of turn 4. So is the 74, but it looked like a little bit of a mistake during the upshift there, so that killed the momentum he had as these guys are going to fight into turn 2. Now look at the 85 car. He's going to go right down to the bottom. Austin Williams finding a way through. He's going to sneak himself into the top 3, now into second place as once again cars going sideways. The 08 goes around. Keeler spinning on turn 4, and so is Don Schumann.
Yeah, Schumann in there as well. Suss involved as well in the 80 car. Joshua Suss, the 11. And a tough break for Keeler, our once race leader, and now finds himself way in the backside of the field with just about 5:45 left to go in this. And Mark Keeler bringing out our yellow flag. He was 3 wide. Janjanin down to the inside. Rex Hoyle as well. Oh, Keeler got in the backside across, and that just got him all crossed up. The 11 nowhere to go. And Suss just went around as well on the outside. You got to wonder if maybe there was a little bit of fluid after some bumper tags in front of him on the racetrack.
Well, race control is just trying to shorten these things up, saying that they're going to hit the choose cone this time around. So we're going to get these guys stacked up right away and get them back into racing. But someone that really profited from these last couple restarts, that's the 85 of Austin Williams. He's now found himself up above the cut line. However, he is right up against it, along with Jonathan Cross. Cross still managing to hold on to that position.
So the Austin Designs choose cone coming into effect here, and top 4 cars. Janjanin in that number 2. Running in spot number 6. Rex Hoyle back there as well. The green flag back up. Frisch not waiting this time. He gets a good jump. It's along with the 85 of Williams. Williams to the inside of Allen back here for the transfer spot. Rex Hoyle has it. He takes it away from Cross, but Cross coming back to the outside. He makes contact with Hoyle. Hoyle around in hard contact into the outside wall.
That is yet another caution here as Rex Hoyle goes around, try to just kind of pinch off the top lane. However, did not quite do that in time for to be able to close off Jonathan Cross. Cross did have a nose in there, so that's going to send the 54 around heavy damage to that car. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep it going. He is still on the track right now, so he is going to try to make the show.
You can just see where Rex came up a little bit and the 10 was on the outside. We'll take another view of this race, of this accident, and the Wizards Design car cam, and just up the racetrack he was, and the 54 just kind of squeezed the 10, and that LCS that when you're in this LCS, you're not going to lift at that point. Every spot means something, and we'll see what happens. Looks like they're going to let the 10 of Cross here with a little bit of damage. Currently sits in that 4th spot. 1 spot out is Dan Janjanin in the number 2 car here before they go through the Austin Designs choose cone. And looks like the 2 car going to move up to the inside. Well, he'll stay 5th. Everyone kind of staying there inside the top 4. 2:45 left to go. If they weren't already aggressive enough for you, I think it's going to get a little bit more aggressive here with these last 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's possibly just going to be another couple restarts here as the pace car ducks down to the safety of pit road. Once again, start in the hands of Thomas Frisch. See when he's going to fire. It's been off of 4, and there it is. Yeah, once again, right as he passes that midway point, 3 and 4, he gets on the loud pedal. Once again, a bit of a misshift from Matthew Allen, the 74. He gets a bit of a tap from Dan Janjanin. Now Mark Keeler going all the way to the bottom, trying to force himself through on that short line. And now the 10 of Jonathan Cross charging on that high side. He's going to get around the 74 of Allen. So Allen going to be right on the cut line now as he's got 2 drivers right behind him trying to take away that last starting spot.
Yeah, Dinsmore coming back after his slide. Here comes Keeler to the inside as well. He gets a little bit sideways, and Keeler going to fall back to the 10th spot. We keep watching this battle for the final transfer spot here in tonight's last chance showdown. And it is Allen holding onto it. He'll slam the door shut on the 62 of Dinsmore. Dinsmore trying to get to the outside quarter panel. He will get the momentum up off the corner. A little bit of contact. Him and Janjanin. Dan Janjanin down to the inside. He'll slide and hit the wall. Thomas Frisch out front. Green flag staying out. Oh, trouble. Now Allen to go to the inside as the 85 of Austin Williams got crossed up with a 10 of Cross.
Yeah, Jonathan Cross still hanging on to the last transfer spot. The 62, though, Jason Dinsmore right behind him. He's going to lurch forward on that high side, burning up those tires as the 10 of Cross gets right to the bumper of Austin Williams. And now right across the line, you could throw those 4 cars under a blanket as they fight for the final transfer spot.
Now Cross trying to give himself a little bit of an insurance spot as he works to the outside of Williams. Dinsmore down there as well. There's 35 seconds left to go as we will close in on that white flag coming out before the scheduled distance of 15 laps. As this is a great battle for the transfer spot. Now the 85 yellow flag coming out. And
Joshua Suss spinning it off of turn 4.
That might save
turn 2.
The 85 of Williams, which I believe this one will now finish underneath the yellow flag, I believe, Kelly.
Yeah, this will definitely finish under caution here as we are ticking away the last couple seconds. So I'm sure we will get the white flag here soon for Thomas Frisch. And that means our transfer spots spent pending any race control investigation will be the 51 of Frisch, the 74 of Allen, the 10 of Cross, and the 85 of Williams.
And that looks like it'll do the checker flag coming out. So Frisch, Allen, Cross, and Williams will make it into tonight's main event. Everyone else will load up on the trailer and look to hit for a better chance at the next event, which will happen September 23rd at the Langley Speedway. That's where they will head as we head into the warm-up period, which also means it is time. Well, when we come back, it'll be time for the RC2 Promotions redraw with our top 8. Welcome back here to the Irwindale Speedway where hot lap sessions are underway, but it is time now for the RC2 Promotions Top 8 redraw. And RC2 Promotions is an iRacing special event organizer that can help manage your special events. They offer quality consulting, event planning, promotion, and full-service event management for competitive prices. If you have an idea for a special event, RC2 Promotions can make it happen. They can handle every detail of your event from recruiting competitors to race day management. With 7 years of experience iRacing and over 10 years of experience in special event planning, RC2 Promotions can make your idea a reality. Inquiries can be made to Robbie at facebook.com/RC2RP. And Kelly, right now we've got our redraw. We've got 1 through 8. And right now we're going to talk to the fastest man, the Dillaweiser Pole Award going to Dante Curtis. And Dante, you are, well, the winningest driver here at Irwindale. What makes Irwindale suit your driving style? And here tonight.
It's wide. It races like a dirt track in some ways. We can keep the momentum up or shortcut the bottom. I don't know. It's slippery tonight, so that helps too.
Well, we got 1 through 8 out there for you. What number would you like?
We picked 3 for Dale last week. We'll go 8 for Dale Jr. this week.
All right, we're gonna go number 8, and we'll see number 8 here tonight. Is going to be P number 3 for car number 3. 125 laps for you, starting third. How you feel about it?
Oh, that's perfect. We got the inside. Hopefully we get a good launch here. Everything goes to plan.
All right. Good luck here tonight, Dante. Thanks for chatting with us. So we'll let you get out on the racetrack and get some laps in.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Dante Curtis. Kelly, I believe you caught up with our second fast driver here tonight, and that would be the driver from Quebec, Mr. Guillaume Fortin.
All right, Guillaume, it is time for the redraw. You are the third fastest of the night. However, because Ryan Johnson going to be taking the winner's penalty move into the back, that means you are going to pick second. I believe 8th has already been picked. So you have 1 through 7. What would you like to choose?
I'll choose my usual number with number 3.
All right, number 3 is going to be P number 8. P number 8.
All right, Guillaume, so starting 8th, a little bit further back. How are you feeling, though, about this, the 125 laps we've got up on the board?
Yeah, hopefully it goes well. I'm not used to those cars a lot, so hopefully it goes all right. And I'll just try to make my way up front. And I'm used to starting a little bit further with those redraws, so I'll try to stay calm and be up there at the end.
All right, so that is the driver of the number 13 machine, Guillaume Fortin, will be starting back in 8th. So hopefully we will see you a little bit later, but we'll let you get back to your hot laps. All right, moving along now, we're going to catch up with a more fast driver from last week. Fast driver now this week as well. We've got Brian Hacker. Brian, I think the 3 and the 8 have already been picked. So what would you like to choose?
Well, what spots are left?
1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
That's all I needed to know. So you said 3 and 8 have been picked, right?
Yep.
We'll go number 2.
All right, number 2, P6. P6 tonight, Brian.
You got awfully excited. I thought I was going to be pole.
Just getting you worked up, getting you ready to go.
Yeah, this is a good track for passing. It should be a good show. Hopefully it's a little bit better than that LCQ.
All right. Well, hopefully we will see you a little bit later, Brian. But let's move along to our next driver here. I believe that is going to be Justin Grosser. All right, Justin, it is redraw time. I believe we have the 1, 5, 7, 4, 6.
Yes.
Those are all up on the board.
1, 4, 5, 6, and 7 to choose from.
Yeah.
Oh man, let's go with the 6.
With the 6. All right, number 6. P7 for Justin Grosser. And Justin, hard charger last week at the North Wilkesboro Speedway tonight. Wide track. I'm seeing multiple lanes. It's black from top to bottom with the rubber laid down. P6, I think it can get done there. 125 laps is a long distance here at Irwindale.
There's a lot of really good cars here, and I think it's just going to be tough. I guess I'm probably capable of running into top 10, but I don't know if those top 4 spots are for me tonight. We're just going to have to play it by ear and just kind of see what happens and see where we find ourselves at the end.
Well, good luck here. We'll be watching this number 31 come up through, and hopefully keep it up front all night.
Appreciate it, guys.
There you go. Justin Grosser will roll off. I believe that was, what did I say, P6?
Yeah, no, 7. He'll be starting 7.
7. All right. Well, I'm glad you're keeping notes, Kelly. I lost my pen. Up next will be Randy Nichols in car number 69, and Randy's got 4 numbers, a 50-50 chance of getting, I think the pole is still out there. We have numbers 1, 4, 5, and 7 left to choose from.
Let's go with 5.
All right, number 5. We're getting there. Number 5 is the pole. So pole for Randy Nichols. Randy going to start from that number 1 spot here tonight. What's going to be the key to keeping it up front? You got a lot of fast cars there going to be starting behind you.
Make this thing like 5 lanes wide and keep Dante behind me. That's not the only way.
And Dante, is very quick here. From a competitor standpoint, you mentioned you try to make it as wide as possible. You got 30 cars going to be out on the racetrack, going to be in a lap traffic fairly quick. How important is it to keep the front end pretty clean here and keep the tires underneath you?
I think, it's definitely important to keep the front end clean, but at the same time, I think keeping the right rear tire from cooking itself to death is going to be the biggest thing with the way these lines are. You drop it to the bottom in 3 and 4 and just trying to get that drive off of 4. You smoke the right rear one time and you got to pretty much save it for, a chunk of time before you can even try to attempt anything again.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. We got to keep moving as time is winding down on this RC2 Promotions redraw. But congratulations on the pole. We'll keep an eye on the 69 here tonight. Next up will be Brian Bianchi, and Bianchi in that number 1 car. You have the number 1, 4, or 7 to choose from.
Well, we'll go number 1 then.
All right, number 1 being chose by Brian Bianchi, and that is going to be outside pole for the number 1. Start in second for Brian Bianchi. We'll keep it short, Brian. Wish you the best of luck as time is winding down on this redraw. We got 2 more to get through. We hope to be talking to you maybe a little bit later this afternoon.
Sounds good. I'll see you then.
That's Brian Bianchi going to start on the outside pole. Next up will be the number 89 of Dustin Shepard. And Dustin, you got 4 or 7 to choose from.
Let's go with 7.
All right, going with number 7 for Dustin, and that is going to be P number 4, so outside the second row for you, my man.
Sweet.
All right, we wish you the best of luck here tonight. We're going to let you get back into the practice mode, and we'll talk to our 8th qualifier, Mr. Scott Austin. And Scott, just formality, you got number 4 to choose here tonight, and picking with the number 4, that is going to be P number 5 for car number 5. Maybe a good omen.
I'll take it. Anything is better than where I was.
Well, you're going to start there in the 5th. We got under a minute left to go. What'd you learn in this warm-up session you can take towards tonight's 125-lap feature?
Well, what I learned is true is keep the tires on it, keep it straight. Passing is going to be tough, so having tires with those long runs. Hopefully we get some long runs. I think that's what we'll strive. So that's what we're looking to do.
All right, good luck, sir. Thank you very much for your time. Best of luck here in tonight's feature event.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, Kelly, that was our RC2 Promotions Top 8 redraw. And that really shook up. You got some fast cars starting towards the back side of that top 8. And we got some fast guys moving towards the back, or towards the front there. So, really anybody's game here tonight. 125 laps. They do have unlimited tires in the pits, but I'm not sure. I think track position might be more important than those tires tonight.
Track position is definitely going to be important, but we are going to have a bit of a delay, I believe, because there was a scoring error during the heat race. Mark Keeler came into the pits as they rounded the track for the final time, so that caused him to be scored in first place when he was not supposed to, which meant that it was kicking Austin Williams out. So in order to get him back in the race here, we are throwing up a new session. So they're quickly going to organize that, get that all together. We've now got our redraw results for the admins to punch in, and we are going to get ourselves back into another race session here, and we'll be able to get our proper 30-car field.
Sounds good. So we'll take a small delay here as the field will populate in the, well, not a new server, but same racetrack, and it'll have the appropriate lineup. So we will do that when we get back to you. But you're watching the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series right here for the North-South Racing League on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And tonight's race, well, it is dubbed the Dan Janjanin 22, but everyone else 125. As we get ready to go with tonight's racing events, we want to thank ZooFab Garage, the title sponsor for the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series located in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. ZooFab Garage is your one-stop shop for fabrication and power on your performance. Vehicle, track, car, or street car. Find them on Facebook or contact them today to start your next project. Kelly's Custom Engraving. Kelly's Custom Engraving is locally owned and operated business located in Bellevue, North Carolina. Specializing in custom engraving of wood, leather, glass, acrylic, and many more materials. Be sure to like them and follow them on their Facebook page to see all their amazing products. The RC2 Promotions is a iRacing special event organizer that can help manage your special events. They offer quality consulting, event planning, and promotion, and full-service event management for competitive rate prices. If you have an idea for a special event, RC2 Promotions can make it happen. They can handle every detail of your event, from recruiting competitors to race day management. With 7 years of experience on iRacing and over 10 years of experience in special event planning, RC2 Promotions can make your idea a reality. Inquiries can be made to Robbie at facebook.com//RC2RP. Wizards Design, a custom sign maker located in Illinois, specializing in logos, signage for streamers. Signs with LED lighting, laser cut wood, and changing colors. Also making beanbag boards, flag designs, and so much more. Check them out on Facebook. That is Wizards Designs. J&G Hardwood Flooring is a small family-owned business which started in 2005, located in Christina, Tennessee, and serves all of Middle Tennessee. Owners Josh and Brandon Klasinski have a combined 35 years of experience to serve all your flooring needs. From new construction, remodels, or even small repairs, for estimates and scheduling, call 615-904-2218. We'd also like to thank Matt Dula, is the proud owner of Dulaweiser, located in Columbus, Ohio. Cold brews, good times, political conversations, and of course, the drink of choice at the races. Dulaweiser is the official drink of the NSRL. Dulaweiser asks all drivers to please drink responsibly. Well, Kelly, we're in this little bit of a delay, and I think it's going to be a good race here tonight.
Yeah, Irwindale always does have the possibility to put on a fantastic race. And I mean, as one of the drivers mentioned earlier, it almost kind of races like a dirt track. You've got that upper lane that's a little bit more banked than the bottom side, and that kind of allows that to be a bit of a faster lane. But then you, especially in 3 and 4, the track really widens out. 3 and 4, you can go all the way down underneath the apron, pretty much right up against the grass, try to shorten up that corner and pretty much throw a slider on the car that's on the outside. So it is definitely going to be an interesting race, and should give some good opportunities for passing.
I definitely agree with that. As we wait for this, we'll call it a rain delay. How about that, Kelly? Once we wait for this rain delay to get on by, The jet dryers will be out on the racetrack here trying to get it closed up. As I believe the new session is, in our terms, is being populated. But it's going to be interesting to see, especially with loading in. Track won't have as much rubber, I don't believe, so that could play a huge factor in the tire wear.
Yeah, tire wear is, of course, going to be a huge thing here, especially in these cars. You have hardly any downforce to speak of, so these guys are going to have to take care of that right front on entry and the right rear on exit, because if you come into that corner way too hot, you're just going to be burning up that right side, and then if you just jam on the throttle on the exit, that back end is going to kick out on you. So these guys are going to have to take care of their tires. As a green flag stop is really not something you can do if you burn these tires up because of how long the pit stops take. I mean, even when you pit under caution, you almost risk going down a lap.
Definitely can. Well, jet dryers are out on the racetrack for the top 30 cars that would have made it into tonight's the Dan Janjanin 22, but everyone else 125 here at the Irwindale Speedway. And I'll give you 3 guesses on who named tonight's race.
I think it's a pretty obvious choice that it is Dan Janjanin, but unfortunately for him, he just got some bad luck during the LCQ, so Dan Janjanin is actually not going to be involved in the main event.
Well, that was strike number 1, Kelly.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's someone that you know pretty well. We talked to him in the RC2 Promotions redraw. That was the namesake of tonight's race.
Was it Brian Hacker then?
Absolutely was. You knocked that one right out of the park. That was low-hanging fruit, wasn't it?
I don't know. You say someone that we know pretty well, and it kind of narrows it down. There's a few guys that we have talked to a number of times, not just here in this league, but in a few other leagues that we broadcast, or in your case, organize. So, a guy that is definitely familiar to us, and I believe last week had a very good run and very good finish as well, but just coming up short to Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, as the car is getting back out onto the racetrack, the rain shower has moved away. As we come back to some live pictures of tonight's main event cars rolling out on the racetrack, and we come back with Jesse Womack with that 14 car, and there's Brian Hacker. We talked about him being the namesake for tonight's race, and well, it's going to be an exciting one, I think, here. And not only Ryan Johnson, he had a very, very fast car, picked up the win last week. Can he go back-to-back after starting P30 tonight?
Yeah, it's going to be a long way to go, but at Irwindale, as you mentioned, there's opportunities to pass, so Ryan Johnson can play a smart game, play a fast game, see if he can get himself around these guys, and also maybe even luck out with some good choices on that choose cone.
Yeah, the field populating right now, getting out onto the racetrack. And, well, last week I got yelled at by this driver, to no surprise, the 75 of Mike Alexander. And yet again, he changes it up from what he was going to do. He had made the Monte Carlo into a Ford, but now I see tonight he's in the Thunderbird.
All right, so instead of driving something that was made to look like a Ford, he's actually driving the Ford now, so
now he'll be fast.
There we go.
Well, you know how I like my Fords.
I don't know, I worked on them for too long to really enjoy them at this point. The engineers kind of ruined them for me.
So the cars out on the racetrack getting their practice session in, getting the feel as the rubber was washed away during that rain delay that popped up out of nowhere. And now we are ready to go racing here this evening, as once everybody gets in the session, they'll think we're waiting on a few cars to populate. I think everybody's at least making their way out from the garage area and getting the cars uncovered, and get these cars lined up here, and we'll get you tonight's starting lineup once that populates. But Kelly, what what are these drivers feeling right now after the rubber getting washed off the racetrack into a brand new racetrack, pretty much?
Well, the big thing also was not just the rubber washing away; it was also the marbles disappearing as well. Because and without the rubber being laid in, the track is going to take a little bit longer to marble up. So I'd say that inside line is actually going to be a little bit more viable for a little bit. We'll see, but because at the same time, that high line isn't going to be as rubbered in, so it's also not going to be as dark, which means it's not going to heat up as much, so it may have a little bit more grip.
And that might come into play for some of those guys starting towards the back of the field. 125 laps seems, pardon me, seems like a long ways, a long time, but it really is not. Lap times will click away here, and, well, I expect a little bit of more green flag runs, and remember, yellow flags will count during these, I do believe, Kelly.
Yes, that was the case last week, so I think it's only in the LCQ that cautions do not count because we have such a small number of laps, so...
Yep. I like it. It's fair, I feel.
Yeah.
Because you got the laps or you got the time, so...
Yeah, it definitely keeps it from dragging on too long, as we saw in the LCQ tonight, unfortunately. Cars were just kind of struggling to... people were getting a little bit too desperate to try to make the show, I would say, as people were kind of throwing things out the window and just going for it. But we do have our 30-car field. I believe pretty much everyone has made it back out on track now, so
we're looking
hopefully we'll be advancing to the race shortly.
We have tonight's pole sitter up on the screen, the 69 of Randy Nichols, and the Thunderbird on that one as well. How about this driver, Brian Bianchi? He is in the Culpeppers #1. I believe a teammate to Rex Hoyle. Unfortunately, I believe Rex Hoyle missing tonight's cutoff just by a few spots. Remember, I had that incident in the LCS, and, well, Brian Bianchi going to start on the outside of the front row in car #1.
All right, here we go. The announcement has just been made. We are advancing to the race now. So we are going to get these cars lined up very shortly. We will go through our starting lineup, and we will finally get this race underway. We have 125 laps scheduled for the distance for this main event here at the Irwindale Speedway, and these laps will tick by quickly, as even though these are just some small street stocks, they will power around this track.
They definitely will, and the field's starting to populate, and this will be your starting lineup here tonight for the Dan Janjanin 22, everyone else 125. And this is your starting lineup up on the front row, if it wants to work. I'm not sure if it does, Kelly.
When will things ever go smoothly in one of these? It's always going to be something with these programs, but we'll get things sorted here. We'll get things ready to go.
We'll get...
The main thing is just switching around these starting spots right off the start.
Yeah, we'll... see what happens here. They get the roll away. Trying to get that pulled up. We'll get them formed up there, but we can tell you at least the top 8 starting lineup is Randy Nichols will be on the point. There it is. So this is how they qualified in, but it's going to be Randy Nichols #1, Brian Bianchi #2, Dante Curtis will roll off 3rd, Justin Shepard 4th, Scott Austin 5, Brian Hacker 6, Justin Grosser and Guillaume Fortin making up row #4, and then it will be Travis Hoffler in, I believe, Rodney Huntoon in row #5, but that'll be 10th, 11th, and 12th starter will be Mike Alexander.
All right, then we are going to have Will Eastman starting in 13th. Adam Gable will roll off 14th. Jesse Womack is going to be starting back in the 15th spot in the 14 car. And then out on his outside, it's going to be a 33 of Braden Campbell. Josh Nelms will be rolling off the inside of row #9. And on the outside, the 23 of Gary Eschen. Matt Dula will be starting back in the 19th spot. And rounding out the top 20 is going to be the 68 of Jordan Madron.
21st will be Philip Martin back there, along with Robbie Clary, Matt Allen, Thomas Frisch, Jim Cross, 25th, 26th, Austin Williams, John Cross, Ryan Johnson, member had to start shotgun, DJ Weltmeyer, and Shane Loveridge. Looks like he missed the grid here, so that'll be our 30-car field as we get ready to go with tonight's main event. Pace car is down and off. Kelly, we are ready to go racing here tonight at the Irwindale Speedway. Green flag is up and we are underway.
Yeah, good start there for Nichols. He's going to get ahead into turn number 1, but now look there, diving down to the bottom side, trying to challenge for the race lead right off the bat is Dante Curtis. Curtis taking no time to try to get himself in front. Now going all the way to the bottom is Dustin Shepard as these cars spread out 3 wide in multiple spots in this field. Almost looked like there may have been 4 wide, a little bit deeper back there as these drivers all scramble for positions. Once again going high, low, middle through turns 1 and 2. A couple cars getting loose off the corner. Dante Curtis challenging for the race lead now. He's going to go all the way down to the apron in turns 3 and 4, and he's going to slide up in front of Randy Nichols. Oh no, Nichols ain't able to keep his nose to the outside, so Nichols going to keep challenging for the race lead.
Nichols up to the race lead there, working through the corner, and it is Dante Curtis putting the nose out front. As everyone works a little sideways, Shepard and Nichols make a little bit of contact. 4 wide down the front stretch. Brian Hacker making some moves there. They were 3 and 4 wide. And somehow they're able to keep it all pointed in the right direction. Oh boy, they are trading paint.
Yeah, a lot of bumping and banging through turns 1 and 2 as drivers scrambled for position as a couple of cars got into each other and got loose, and Brian Hacker able to maintain control of the car, still sitting in a top 5 position. However, he is fighting Dustin Shepard for that spot. Just behind them, Scott Austin and the 14 of Jesse Womack are also battling for position. Now Womack going way down, getting loose there on the bottom. Now the 2 of Hacker getting a good run on that high side. He's going to get a nose ahead of Justin Shepard. However, cannot quite get clear going into turn 1. Shepard a little bit of a wiggle off of turn 2. And now they're going to drag race down the back straight. And just in front of them, Randy Nichols, after starting on pole, has dropped back to 4th place and is just burning those tires going through the apron of 3 and 4.
And Justin Grosser in that 31 car, he was a little bit sideways right there, and as he's got Will Eastman back there as well in that number 13. Eastman working up the racetrack, and the 12 behind him, Rodney Huntoon. So a lot of drivers moving around. Oh, contact! Mike Alexander to the inside, as they are still 3 wide. And look at the 91 work in the middle there. That is Gable, and he's trying to make it 4 wide there for a moment. They're going to fan out through turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, you can see the rubber being laid down on the track by these cars as they try to just push through 3 and 4 down on the apron. You can see those big streaks being left behind, and that is just taking the life out of those tires. So they cannot do that for long. If they keep pushing it like they are right now on that bottom side, they are going to completely use up that right front, and they're going to have just no drive into the corner. Now Guillaume Fortin and Brian Bianchi are battling for the 2nd position. Guillaume getting a little bit ahead off of turn 2. However, Bianchi getting a good run off the high side there, so he's going to be able to get his nose back up to the door of that 13 machine. But now battling side by side, still off of turn 4, just a little bit of ahead is Guillaume Fortin at the line. Now he's going to have to work way down the racetrack, and 1 and 2 still cannot quite get clear. He's going to force his way up to the front, just chopping off the nose of Bianchi, and he's going to take away 2nd place.
And Guillaume Fortin working in spot number 2, looking now to chase down Curtis. And Curtis, the winningest driver here at Irwindale Speedway in North-South Racing League history, is out front by 1.7 seconds. And this track just really fits his driving style, it seems like, as he gains another 2/10 on him. Is Brian Hacker now starting to put some pressure on the 69 of Nichols.
Yeah, Nichols said his strategy was going to try to make his car 4 lanes wide to try to hold off Dante Curtis. That did not last long. Curtis immediately jumped ahead of all the other cars, fought off Randy Nichols, and was able to get himself in the lead. Is now taking off from the rest of this field. And still we are watching Brian Hacker fighting with Randy Nichols, trying to get himself even further into this top 5. Sitting in 5th right now, trying to get up into 4th, but now closing up behind him is that 89 machine of Dustin Shepard.
Dustin Shepard working there. Womack and Scott Austin were sideways there for a moment. Justin Grosser in that 31 car working the outside of the racetrack as well. As they work down here at the backstretch, Brian Hacker now going to swing to the inside, trying to get around Randy Nichols. He'll try to cross him up off the corner. Can't quite get the momentum. Here comes Shepard to the outside.
Yeah, it looks like that inside line not quite carrying the speed that it was earlier on, though we watch at the front, Dante Curtis is still using it, so we'll have to see if maybe Brian Hacker can maybe put it to follow that line, put it to good use as he goes through 3 and 4 down to the bottom once again. Cannot quite get clear of Nichols, but he is inching forward every single lap, but at the same time, the Justin Shepard has closed up the gap right behind them. He's looking for his own opportunity to move himself up into the top 5.
He's trying to do so, and Brian Hacker still working that inside lane. This time going to pull up in front of Nichols. Nichols will cross the line. He'll go back to the inside, trying to force his way up in front of Brian Hacker. Unable to do so. That time up off the corner number 2 as they work 3 and 4. Now Nichols back to the inside. Meanwhile, up front, it is still Shepard or Curtis out to the race lead up front. And Dante Curtis going to start rolling in on the 72 and the Shane Lovers, the driver from Australia. Races on his lunch break, Kelly.
Yeah, but there was a little bit in the field. Oh, big slide from Jesse Womack. He was all sorts of loose through 3 and 4. Irwindale is known as a drift track, and Jesse Womack just trying to join the Formula D guys here as he got all sideways through 3 and 4, and that is going to be brutal on those right rear tires.
Definitely will be. And now Will Eastman in the 13 car working the bottom side. Here comes the 12 of Rodney Huntu and the 75 of Mike Alexander. We're closing in on 25 laps complete. A little bit deeper in the field. How about Gary Eschen in that 23 car? He works up there behind Gable, and he's got the 68 of Madron behind him as well. Philip Martin rolling the bottom side of the racetrack in his number 46. Familiar colors with that car, the red, black, and yellow numbers.
Yeah, Philip Martin, though, not going to go all the way down to the apron here in 3 and 4 like some of these other drivers are. Like you see just behind them, the 17 actually tried for it and got a little bit tight. Matt Dula, a little bit of trouble through 3 and 4. He's now going to get himself up ahead of Matthew Allen. Allen going to try to cross him up, go to the inside there, coming off of turn 4. He's got his nose up to the door. It's not, again, not going to go all the way down to the bottom, but there is just no banking still, even on that inside lane. So if you're going to go to the inside in 3 and 4, it seems like you just have to just fully commit and go all the way to the bottom to cut that distance down, because there's just no banking whatsoever if you're below that dashed line.
It definitely seems that way, and a few spots up there in front of him is the driver of that 00 of Josh Nelms. And Josh Nelms, well, he won the National Short Track Championship over the weekend, Kelly, on the real world side of things. And Nelms back here running right in front of Ryan Johnson, last week's winner. Johnson started back in the 30th position up to the 21st spot, now trying to crack the top 20. And Ryan Johnson won the Bandit Track Championship at Wilmot Speedway on Saturday night. So some real world success translating right over here to the Sims side. And Ryan Johnson going to work around Nelms, and that'll be for spot number 20.
Yeah, the real world side of things starting to wrap up their racing season, so these guys are going to have a little bit more time for the sim. And just up ahead here, looks like Adam Gable and Gary Eschen battling for position. And I see another car going way down the bottom there. I'm getting loose off the corner. That's Will Eastman in that 22. And he may just lose a couple spots off of that as he's trying to work his way around Justin Grosser and Mike Alexander. However, getting loose off that corner has overheated his tires. He's lost his grip here. Now Travis Hoffler going to go down as well.
Yeah, Hoffler in that number 20 car, working the bottom side of the racetrack and trying to make something happen as we are almost after we'll cross the line. Dante Curtis out there on a Monday night drive, some 3 seconds in front of the rest of the field, and we are starting lap number 30, so just about 96 laps left to go here is Guillaume Fortin and Brian Bianchi. But our first yellow flag coming out on the speedway
looks to be Thomas Frisch, who is spun around on the front straight. We'll have to go back and see what happened to him here and see what happened to that 51 car. What caused him to take his little spin, a little bit of bump into the back end, looks like as well for that car.
Yeah, it looked like if we can we get the truck to rewind, it looks like the 91 of Gable got a little bit loose. Oh, contact between himself and the 68 of Madron. And the 51 just nowhere to go. A lot of right rear damage to the 51 of Frisch, which was really the innocent bystander in yellow number 1 here tonight. So first chance that we'll get to see the Austin Designs choose cone come back out onto the racetrack. And Kelly, tonight, after we lost 3 officials last week for cars running them over, they are going to keep it. And how about this chain of event? Well, I think the whole field coming down pit road, they remember a little bit later on the fuel load, they are going to have to make at least one stop for fuel, and this could be it.
Yeah, I think the other thing is the tires as well. These guys were abusing them, especially through 3 and 4 on that bottom side. You saw some of those guys pushing hard, leaving just black streaks all along the track. Couple of those guys, as well as mentioned, trying to imitate the Formula D guys that come here every single year and making some nice drifts through 3 and 4. But we'll have to watch these guys now as Dante Curtis is going to lead them back out of the pit road. And yeah, you were right. It was the entire field that came down. Every single one of these drivers came down to pit road for service.
So everybody making their way back out onto the racetrack. Dante Curtis will lead them off. And this could trap pull a few guys down a lap here if if they don't get off pit road. So interesting here.
Yeah, there was someone that got dinged last week for passing the pace car after they exited pit road. And that caused them to get a disqualification for the entire event. So these guys really having to race the pace car out of the pits. And I think that's the reason why Dante Curtis only took right side tires. And now it looks like they are going to choose. Coming up to the choose cone now. Dante is going to pick the inside. Looks like Brian Hack are going to take the outside pole. So those guys, for those not unaware, the choose cone tonight is right down there on the bottom at the start-finish line. It is right at the line separating the race surface from the apron.
It is, and we'll watch this restart coming on up in one time by, and getting the timing and scoring back up and running, Kelly, and trying to get our numbers to load in so people can see their favorite drivers' numbers. And some of it's working, some of it's not. Technology. You gotta love it.
Yeah, but I believe the lights are out on the pace car now. We're going to get ourselves back to racing here in lap 37. Pace car now down and away. It is in the hands of Dante Curtis. We will see when he is going to fire off on this restart. And it is going to be right past the halfway point in turns 3 and 4, and he's going to launch ahead, and so is Dustin Shepard. A great start from him. He actually looks like he gave Dante Curtis a little bit of a push coming across the line into turn 1, and now Brian Hack are going to have to cross him up, go to the inside. He's probably going to come way down the racetrack all the way to the bottom. and the 89 of Justin Shepard not going to the fully to the high side, not completely riding that banking, however, still carrying enough speed to keep holding on to second place.
Yeah, right now they're working 3-4 wide through the corners. We watch this battle for the number 2 spot. Dustin Shepard going to throw care to the wind. Down through the middle side of the racetrack is Brian Hacker, runs low. Shepard's going to have it by a nose at the line.
Yeah, Shepard carrying some good speed on the high side as once again the cars are still 3 wide, a little bit further back in the field. Contact a little bit there for Mike Alexander. Now big hard hit in the wall for the 1 and the 23. Brian Bianchi, Gary Eschen, hard impact. Couple more cars scattered. There's bumpers all over the racetrack, because I believe that 33 car is also involved. But I think the night is over for Bianchi and Eschen.
Yeah, Bianchi down here on pit road. Our yellow flag coming out for the second time here this evening. Braden Campbell also involved. And let's take a look and see what happened. Oh, it got up off the corner, and they were at that 3 wide situation. Bianchi comes up a little bit. Oh, and right at that pit wall angle. Heavy contact for both drivers. The one of Bianchi and Gary Eschen will go out the driver's side door. Listen to this impact. And that was a hard lick as we come back to some live pictures here as the field worker under Jesse Womack looking to come back down pit road in that 14, and he's bringing Gable, and those cars maybe got a little piece of that action here underneath our yellow flag.
Yeah, there's a few cars involved in that. However, Brian Bianchi has already pulled it down behind the wall. So has the 22 of Will Eastman. I don't know what he caught in that, but looks like his car was pretty heavily damaged on the right front as well. So that is going to end his night too. Yeah, looking back myself here, looks like he did get involved in that wreck. So Will Eastman going to pull it behind the wall. Gary Eschen, I think his car is going to be done. He hasn't officially exited the car just yet, but can't imagine that thing is going to get back onto the racetrack. And Brian Bianchi has also parked it for the night.
He has, as the field rolls around here. Dante Curtis still leads it. Dustin Shepard in spot number 2.
And I believe we are going to get the choose cone this time around.
And it's presented by Austin Designs this season, Kelly. So we want to thank Scott Austin and Austin Designs for sponsoring that. Looks like the first 3 cars are, well, 2 cars went to the bottom.
Yeah, it seems like the Highline is a little bit preferred here by a few of these drivers. You're able to carry just a bit more speed, and it's a little bit easier to do so, but the inside line does have its advantage, especially on these restarts, because it's just got such a shorter lane, and we even saw that during the LCQ as the driver that was on the inside pole, despite not being the one that was in control to start, who was actually able to win the race to the line just because he had that much of a shorter distance.
Lights are out on the pace car, Kelly. We're getting ready to go back green flag racing.
Yeah, Dante Curtis in control to start here. He launched it in between 3 and 4 last time. Is that where he's going to be again? Yeah, he is going to fire again. And look at the 89 car of Dustin Shepard pushing him along on that restart. Shepard trying to take away second place from Hacker as we saw them battling in that last green flag run, as now their positions are a little bit switched up. Shepard now on the inside lane. He's actually going to run the middle, force Hacker all the way up to that high side as we keep watching Dante Curtis go all the way to the bottom. 3 wide just behind them. The 31 of Justin Grosser having to run that middle lane as Philip Martin was trying to work his way through on the bottom.
Yeah, Martin in that 46 car. And how about Ryan Johnson from last inside of the top 10? And he is not done yet. So Johnson trying to go back to back is meanwhile up in front of them. Brian Hacker trying to make some hay up on the outside, but we are on board with the 46 of Philip Martin. You can see how intense this is, trying to make some moves, as he's got Ryan Johnson right there in front of him, the 38, the winner at North Wilkesboro. Just 1 week ago, had to start at the tail end of the field and finds himself inside the top 10 now.
Matt Dula nearly having to go 3 wide there as Jordan Madron was trying to get in on the bottom side. However, he got a little bit loose in 1 and 2. Now 3 and 4, though, he is going to get all the way to the bottom. Not quite going to carry enough speed to get himself involved in that fight, and is actually going to lose some ground there to Huntoon and Frisch. He's going to keep trying to run that bottom side and go all the way to the apron in 1 and 2. But again, it's just not quite going to work out for him. Just up in front, though, Guillaume Fortin now going to the inside of the 89 of Dustin Shepard. He's going to chop the nose right off the 69 of Nichols. And now Nichols going to go to the bottom. He's going to get himself side by side with the 13 of Fortin.
He's going to get there is now Fortin trying to make something. There's Scott Austin applying the back pressure to the 69 of Nichols. As Matt Dula is down on pit road and the yellow flag is out.
Yeah, Matt Dula getting sent around on the exit of turn 4. There's a light little spin to the inside of turn 4. I don't think there's going to be any damage to that race car. Maybe a little bit of scrapes to the sides here. We'll have to see what we can get up on the camera here. See what happened to the 17 machine.
Yeah, it looks like he just got a little bit of a helping hand up off of turn number 4. Cameras just barely caught it. Up off the corner is yellow flag comes out. See at the top of the corner, and round he goes. Racing back to it, Womack in the 14. I'm not really sure what happened or whatnot there. The cameras don't really show a great angle of it, but something happening, Kelly, and that bringing out our yellow flag here once again.
Yeah, we are getting closer to the halfway mark, though, of this race, and it has been all Dante Curtis since pretty much the drop of the green flag. He did not start on pole despite having the fastest time because of that. By courtesy of that redraw, he had to start back in 3rd, but wasted no time to get to the front. However, it looked like he was about to come down pit road, but Brian Hacker had elected to stay out, so that caused Dante Curtis to make the call that he was going to stay out on the racetrack. Though there are a few drivers that have come down. Looks like Nichols has come down pit road, and I think so has Grosser.
And Justin Grosser coming down pit road. Nicholas Hoffler, Gable, Josh Nelms, Matt Dula, Jordan Madron, and Gary Eschen all down on pit road currently. I know Eschen's been down there for some time with that 23 car. A lot of damage to his car.
Yeah, and as I said, I don't think we're gonna see that car come back out here, and I think we are getting the 2 to green call here. So that means next time by they will do the choose cone. Yeah, next time by they will have the choose cone out, and we will see where these guys are gonna stack up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dante Curtis change anything up. He has been staying on that inside. He has been liking that inside line, especially through 3 and 4, and he has been making it work for himself much better than anyone else. I mean, we saw in that first long green flag run that he was able to just run away from the field, opened up nearly a 3-second gap before the first caution.
You see, the choose line is down at the very bottom of that racetrack. So you got to be down by the inside wall or way up high to stay up high. You can see some of the guys towards the back there as they work through the Austin Design choose. As they get pointed into the right direction, and they'll get doubled back up. And next time by, we should go green flag.
Yeah, we are getting these guys loaded up here, and they're actually going to get one more lap to get themselves sorted, it seems. The lights did come back on the pace car. So make sure these guys get themselves into formation, and we'll go next time by, hopefully. We'll watch those lights go out, and the field will be in control of Dante Curtis. And he's been launching in pretty much the exact same spot, and at the same time, Dustin Shepard has been right there with him, pretty much pushing Curtis along on that front straight.
Yeah, Dante Curtis up there in the front of this one over Brian Hacker and Dustin Shepard. Green flag is back up. Ryan Johnson going to get spun around here on the front as the green flag comes out, and green is staying out. So tough break for Johnson, who had worked his way all the way from the back of the pack to inside the top 10. It looks like Randy Nichols also in trouble up on the pit wall, and he's going to have to take the tow as we stay green. Wild chain of events.
And now Dante Curtis leads Dustin Shepard, and we see Brian Hacker trying to get his nose back to the inside of that 89 machine. Meanwhile, closing up right behind them is a number of cars, including the 13 of Guillaume Fortin. Fortin going to have a good run off of the high side here, however, not going to quite be enough to get himself up to Brian Hacker just yet, as pretty much everyone's staying on the high side through 1 and 2.
That they are, and they're working down here through the corner, and Curtis showing the way as they work here. Brian Hacker really applying the pressure to Shepard for spot number 2, and Scott Austin running in that 5th spot. Mike Alexander in 6th. 7th to Philip Martin, and kind of feel good for Philip Martin. Didn't think he was going to be back behind the wheel this soon after some back surgery, and said he was feeling pretty good, wanted to give it a shot here tonight, and he finds himself running in that 7th position.
Now Adam Gable in the 91 getting out of the way. I don't know what happened to that car, but he is now coming down pit road as we continue this fight up towards the front of the field. The 89 catches the wall. Dustin Shepard getting a little bit loose off of turn 4. He's going to tag the wall, and that's going to give an opportunity for Brian Hacker. Hacker now side by side, completely even up off of turn 2. Good drag race down the back straightaway. Now Hacker going to go all the way to the bottom, pretty much following in the tire tracks of Dante Curtis. However, cannot quite make that bottom side work just like Curtis can, as Curtis pretty much seems to be driving a different car compared to everyone else just by how he can make that bottom side work through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and that's where he's been his bread and butter, lap in, lap out, getting down there. Now Brian Hacker going to try to slide up in front of Shepard, and could have tried to push the issue there as we are just at the halfway point of this race. We're closing in on it, excuse me. Couple laps shy of it.
Yeah, getting into halfway through here, and there has been a lot of action and still a lot of racing to go, as Hacker is going to finally get himself clear of Shepard. Shepard going to push him through 1 and 2, and now Guillaume Fortin giving Shepard a bit of a bump, but that killed a lot of his momentum off of the corner, and that has pretty much caused an accordion effect on that high side, as Austin, Alexander, and Martin all had to check up a little bit. And now it sounds like Randy Nichols has actually pulled it behind the wall as well. So that is going to be the end of the night for the 69 machine.
Yeah, well, a tough break for Nichols. Remember, Scott drew the pole here tonight. A very good race car, and a tough break for the driver of the 69, as he will be out of tonight's race, leaving 25 cars left in this race. Adam Gable 1 lap down, everyone else on the lead lap currently. Side of the racetrack.
Couple cars just behind them leaning on each other. That is the 10 and the 93 of Cross and McLeod. However, McLeod getting a bit of a better run off the high side. Now watching them there. Jordan Madron going all the way to the bottom and a little bit loose as Jonathan Cross off of turn 2 or turn 4. He's able to maintain control, and now he is going to give a bit of a shot to the 93 car. He's going to try to go to the bottom. However, it's cut off by Madron. Now he's getting a push from behind for Braden Campbell. They are bumping and banging, elbows out racing here in the midfield.
Yeah, the 33, Campbell up in the outside wall, and that's going to lose him a couple spots. Matt Dula into the 21st spot, vying for that 20th spot is some of these drivers, and Ryan Johnson working off of turn number 2, and he is some almost 13 seconds back behind the race lead. And tough break as he has really carved his way up through the field, was inside the top 10 when getting spun out there. And right now we watch the race leader, and his front brake rotors starting to show a little bit of glow there.
Yeah, a little bit behind him, though. Jesse Womack looking to advance his position, trying to get around Thomas Frisch. However, Rodney Huntoon jumping on the opportunity. He's going to get to the outside of that 14 car. He is running well on that top lane. However, Womack gets a good run off of turn 2. He's going to try a little bit of a different line, a little bit of a later exit into that apron. However, it's not quite going to work for him. He does not carry the momentum off the corner. Loses ground a little bit to Huntoon. Huntoon, I think, nearly beat him to the line. So we are going to see if Huntoon can move himself up into 9th, or if Womack can maybe answer back here. He's trying a different line once again, going a little bit higher up. And these drivers are basically forced to experiment. It is looking like a dirt race, as one of the drivers mentioned before the start of this race, is you kind of have to search for the grip, and you were going to throw the sliders in the wide track and may run the momentum off the high line.
It definitely looking that way, especially as the track continues to rubber down. You can see from high above here as we are on our Wizards Designs camera from up above the racetrack, and the track really is not a yellow flag will fly once again. As
looks to be the 68 of Jordan Madron involved, as well as maybe the 74. We'll have to see what happened to this Jordan Madron's car.
Let's take a look here and see what happened to Jordan. Working there behind Matt Allen in that 74 automobile, and they come up off of turn number 4, and oh, Allen got sideways, so a little bit loose, and a hard impact into the inside retaining wall for the 68 of Madron. Madron in that number 68. Jordan, hard contact to the inside wall, and one of those things, wrong spot, wrong time, as the 74 of Matt Allen just got loose up off of turn number 4. One driver that's probably happy to see this yellow flag is the driver that's right there, that black and purple number 38 of Ryan Johnson, as your race leaders all come down pit road.
Yeah, everyone is going to come down and probably get some fresh tires. At the very least, right sides. We saw last time a couple guys took 4 tires and they nearly did not make it out of pit road before the pace car came by. So that is one thing that you have to consider with these street stocks. You do not have a professional NASCAR pit crew helping you out here. You've got basically just essentially a couple guys with a regular jack and a off-the-shelf impact gun. So we'll have to see what these guys are going to take, if they're just going to take right sides or not. We got some guys coming off of pit road already. Looks like it is still going to be Dante Curtis leading those group. However, this time, not everyone came down. Looks like Philip Martin, Mike Alexander, both electing to stay out. So that means we're finally going to have a new leader.
Yeah, it will be Mike Alexander up on the point, Philip Martin second, and then the 2 guys that come down pit road behind them. Interesting play call there. We're really going to see what if it's track position or tires make a difference.
I think the tires will definitely make a difference. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to pass. There's different lines you can take here. As now we get the choose cone here, it looks like the 46 of Martin is going to stay on the outside right behind Alexander, who's also elected to take the outside lane. So that means they give the inside to Dante Curtis, and despite Mike Alexander controlling the restart, I expect to see the 3 car just take off into turn 1.
Oh, you do? What makes you think that?
Probably because he did it just at the beginning of the night here, and we also saw in the LCQ that even though the outside driver was in control of the restart, he was able to just take off on the inside lane and even had the lead before the start-finish line.
I like it. I'm making sure you're paying attention, Kelly. That's all.
I know what I'm talking about. I didn't get too concussed this weekend.
So Mike
All right,
Alexander, Dante Curtis up at the front of this one, I believe. We're going to go green, Kelly? You hearing that?
I think so. Yep, their pace car is down and away, so it's in the hands of Mike Alexander. We'll see when he elects to fire and what Dante Curtis is going to do to answer back. Here we go, going back to green. There goes the 75. There goes the 3, and they are going to drag race down into turn 1. And a great launch there from Alexander. He's going to prove me wrong. However, look at Dante Curtis going all the way to the bottom. He kind of gets his nose to the corner panel, and now let's see here. Here's the corner where Dante Curtis has been faster than anyone else on the racetrack. Turns 3 and 4. Look at that, going from a car length back to nearly even up at the line. However, but at the same time, Alexander carrying a lot of momentum. Now he's going to slide at the racetrack, so that's going to give an opportunity for Dante Curtis. Now he's starting to get his nose ahead.
Dante Curtis with a little bit of a nose out in front of Alexander. Alexander runs that lower lane, but Dante Curtis back to the race lead here on lap number 86. Now under attack will be Guillaume Fortin. He's following suit underneath the 75 of Alexander. Philip Martin falling back to 5th. So here I thought maybe track position was going to be a little bit more. The guys with fresher tires able to carve up as Womack was a little bit crossed up off of turn number 4.
Yeah, 3 and 4, everyone is trying to crowd that higher line as they don't quite have the space to go all the way to the bottom like they do in 3 and 4. So create some close quarters racing. Now 3 wide through 3 and 4. Dustin Shepard going all the way to the bottom. Now getting really loose off the bottom. So is the 14 of Womack. Both those guys able to maintain control of their race cars. So we are going to stay green here. But they are going to lose a little bit of tread off of them and a little bit of momentum. And that is going to allow drivers like that are on the outside, like Philip Martin, to sneak through. But Philip Martin not quite going to get clear of Womack. Womack trying to fight back on that low side.
He is. Womack working underneath the 46 of Martin. He's got Grosser behind him and Dustin Shepard running in that 8th spot. Meanwhile, up front, it is Dante Curtis opening up of half a second lead. Frisch is going to go around in front of the field. Dula nowhere to go. Crosses around. Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Yeah, caution is going to come out for Thomas Frisch in that 51 car going around. Got tagged right in the passenger side door by the 17, it looked like, and I think there is a completely separate incident that sent the 10 car spinning around. We'll see what we're going to see on the replay here.
Yeah, they're looking to pull that up here in the truck, Kelly, so we'll take a look here and see. They say they got it. Let's see if they do. With John Cross, Matt Dula in front of them. This happened up a little bit in front of them. It looked like Huntoon got there and Dula nowhere to go, and Cross spins to the inside. So the official yellow flag was for John Cross, but that happened a little bit more in front of him. With Thomas Frisch going around. Let's take a look here. Spot the corner. Just got a little bit loose, but I can't tell. Maybe a little contact there. Scott Austin with some damage as well in the 5 car. Here I just said he's had a good, clean race. Is now Frisch, Cross, and Gable going to come back down pit road.
Yeah, a couple of guys trying to just get some damage repairs done here. Dante Curtis continues to lead the field. Well, when we go back to green, we're going to be under 30 laps to go, and we see in these green flag runs, those laps can tick away fast, so we'll have to see if anyone can do anything about Dante Curtis. He has pretty much been unchallenged, even when he wasn't in the lead. I mean, it did not take long for him to get around Mike Alexander. Anytime he's been in the lead, he has just driven away from anyone else, so now Guillaume Fortin going to be sitting in 2nd place when we get to the choose cone here in maybe another lap or so. We'll see what he's going to elect to do, if he's going to follow Dante Curtis or go on the outside, and what he can maybe do to try to challenge Curtis.
I mean, Curtis has seemed to have had the car to beat. He was set fast time here tonight. Gonna come through right now, sit there in that up front. I think a little bit of bad luck is what it's going to take, and he's a very smart driver. These guys are really going to have to push him to make a mistake, I think, in order to see something happen to him. He is the winningest driver here. He's got this place figured out. I mean, these drivers behind him are going to school, so are they learning enough here with 30 laps to go?
You're saying to pressure him and make him make a mistake, but like I don't see how that's possible because no one's even able to catch him to even apply any pressure to Dante Curtis. And with how he's been driving, I think he can kind of take a step back from his own personal like 100% driving and kind of take it easy and even still pull away from these guys.
I mean, it's going to come down. I think it just. You have a lot of fast guys behind him, but I think he's managing his race correctly. He is keeping it underneath them. You don't really see that car really getting out of shape behind underneath him. And I think that's the difference right now. Is these guys behind him are really having to battle it out. As green flag is back out as they work down here in the turn number 1. It'll be Curtis with a good launch with the battle for number 2 spot between Guillaume Fortin and Brian Hacker, 2 competitors that battled it out last season as they really are working side by side. And how about Alexander right there as they work through the top here, and they are fanning out once again. I love this place just by the way they fan out a little bit deeper here in the field.
And Guillaume got a little bit loose off before contact, a little bit further back behind them between Justin Shepard and Ryan Johnson. However, they are able to regather their cars and keep it going. As you see, these guys completely taking 3 different lines, maybe even 4 up there. And again, another car getting loose. That's Nelms. And now the 51 of Frisch getting tagged. He's going to go to the bottom side. He maintains control, gathers it back up. Cars all over this place as these guys are battling for position. Coming down to just 25 laps left this time at the stripe.
Yeah, 25 laps to go this time by, and Brian Hacker right there behind Fort and Alexander running in 4th. 5th spot is Philip Martin. Jesse Womack running in the spot number 6. Ryan Johnson from 30th back to the inside of the top 10, vying for spot number 7.
The top 3 are in a tight group as well. This time, Dante Curtis not quite pulling away. Ryan Johnson, he has fought his way back up from the back of the field for a second time tonight. He's got himself to the inside of Jesse Womack. He's going to go all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Can he get around Womack? He's not quite clear. Womack going to charge back on the high side, carrying a lot of speed down to the turn 1. Side by side, they're still through 1 and 2. Womack going to carry a little momentum on the high side. Not quite going to be enough to really challenge Johnson now as he goes down all the way to the bottom, following what those lead 3 are doing. Now this time he's going to be completely clear, going to chop off the nose of Womack. Womack going to swap it up, go to the bottom side, get tight a little bit, and that is going to kill his momentum. And I think the position can go to Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson trying to get back to a top 5. He was up there earlier on in the event. He's going to get the momentum. He's going to clear Womack. Now Womack under attack by Justin Grosser. Grosser in that 31 car working the outside with the Meow on the left rear quarter panel. Trying to make something happen a little bit deeper behind them. Dustin Shepard in the 89 working with Scott Austin and Josh Nelms. Hoffler back there as well.
And I want to just take a look at what the lead 3 are doing. They're running a completely different line in both 1, 2, 3, and 4 compared to everyone else. They're always a little bit lower. As you see, pretty much everyone is on the high side through 1 and 2. Now, as I say that, actually, no, there they go. They're going to kind of arc it down through this turn 2 there, while everyone else is just trying to carry the momentum on the high side. And once again, there's a lot of drivers staying up high. These 3 going all the way down to the grass in 3 and 4.
And Ryan, as we mentioned that, Ryan Johnson now attacking the number 75, comes up with a little bit of bumper tag between himself and the 46 of Philip Martin. Martin didn't lift out of the gas, and that might have helped the 38 regain some of that momentum loss as he was trying to make a move on the 75 of Mike Alexander.
Yeah, Alexander running well there, up 8 positions from the start of the night. Ryan Johnson having to come all the way back to the field, was just about in the top 10 when he got sent spinning around on a restart and had to fight all the way from the back once again, and has got himself back up here into a top 5. But he's looking for more. He wants to see if he can maybe go for a back-to-back win here. However, he still has to clear Mike Alexander and then catch those lead 3 who have taken off from the rest of these guys.
Yeah, they
Guillaume is in 3rd place, and there's 2.1 seconds back to Mike Alexander in 4th.
Yeah, and right now that gap between your 1st and 2nd is just about a car length and a half, maybe 2 car lengths now, is Dante Curtis starting to inch away, I would say, over Brian Hacker, who runs in 2nd with about 14 laps to go right here at the stripe. 0.4 of a second each lap, just a little bit further distance between himself and the guys behind him, and he runs a little bit higher line through turns 1 and 2 that time.
Yeah, the thing to note though, Brian Hacker does have the fastest lap of the race. He was about a 10th faster than Dante Curtis's fastest lap. However, that last time around, Curtis was a little bit faster. Now we're going to see as the times come up this time. Actually, Hacker and 410 a little bit faster than that 3 car. So can they close up the gap while behind them the battle for 4th continues to rage on? Ryan Johnson battling with Mike Alexander. Johnson going down to the inside, a little bit of a wiggle off of 4, going to allow Alexander to charge back on the high side.
Yeah, they were just there. They both wiggled. Thought Johnson might be able to get the power down and was unable to.
As now Mike Alexander is still trying to fend off Ryan Johnson. Ryan can't quite get up in front of that 75. However, at the line, he was scored ahead, so that would be the difference maker in about 11 laps time here, as these laps are ticking away. We got another driver that has just pulled it behind the wall. That is the 74 of Matthew Allen. He's called it a night. As now drivers swapping positions, Mike Alexander has to go down to the bottom after Ryan Johnson was able to get it in front, and Alexander all sorts of loose off of turn 2.
Oh, one car going around on the backstretch. That is Thomas Frisch. He's in the inside wall. We have 9 laps to go. We stay green. Meanwhile, Brian Hacker starting to feel pressure from the 13 of Guillaume Fortin in that 13 QC entry. And I was just about ready to say Brian Hacker was about right on the back bumper. And right now, Curtis drives away with 8 laps to go. But Brian Hacker starting to close back in on him.
Yeah, Hacker closed up a little bit that last time by on that last lap. 20.075 to 20.119. But it's not going to be enough at this rate. He's got to get back to him and challenge for this lead. Laps are ticking away. We are now starting lap 119 of 125. A little bit of a difference now on the lines between the 3 and the 2 of Curtis and Hacker. That time through 1 and 2. This time though, 3 and 4, Hacker pretty much in the wheel marks of Dante Curtis.
A little bit wider of an entry, I think, trying to regain some of that momentum. And he's gapped himself from the 13 of Fortin. So Hacker 6 laps to get the mount a charge. But Dante Curtis looking for his 4th career NSRL Irwindale win. He's got 5 more circuits left to do to etch that in stone.
Yeah, Curtis going way up the racetrack. He's trying to find something out here to maybe see if he can pull up a bit more of a gap over Hacker. However, it looks like a bit of a bobble from Brian Hacker that time off of turn 2. That's going to kill a lot of his momentum, but a really good line through 3 and 4. Looks like he may have closed that gap up a little bit more, but these laps are ticking away. It looks like we've got 4 to go as Dante Curtis continues to lead, and he's actually opening up that gap, at least it looks like to my eye.
He is in about half a second, 3 laps to go right now for Dante Curtis, a little bit deeper in the field. How about Austin Williams from the B main or LCS into the 6th spot? He's battling with Dustin Shepard and Mike Alexander. Josh Nelm He's working back here in that 00 as well as he gets sideways, and Nelm's going to lose that spot. Is now Hoffler works around the outside of Womack. 2 laps to go for Dante Curtis.
Yeah, 2 laps left for Dante Curtis. Can he hold off Brian Hacker? Brian has just been slowly chipping at that lead, but it has not been enough. Still 4/10 of a gap as the white flag now up in the air one more time for Dante Curtis. Can he be perfect here tonight?
Dante Curtis trying to make something happen as they work down off of turn number 2, down the backstretch for the final time. Curtis trying to go to victory lane for the 4th time in his NSLR career. He will do so in the Dan Janjanin 22. Everyone else 125 here tonight at the Irwindale Speedway. Brian Hacker going to come second. Guillaume Fort in third. And how about Ryan Johnson, 30th to 4th here tonight in that number 38. Justin Grosser will come home 5. Williamson 6. Shepard 7. Alexander Martin and then Scott Austin rounding out your top 10, all unofficial. Obviously, as the field comes down pit road, is Dante Curtis going to pick up the win as the field will come down here on the front stretch. And Kelly, you're going to make your way, start making your way back down there as the field comes to a slow. It looks like it's going to be safe for you to cross out on that racetrack here momentarily as we get ready to go with the ZooFab Garage post-race show coming up right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network as we get everybody situated here for that. What a great race that was.
Yeah, a fantastic race all around. Lots of action. These guys were just fighting to maintain control of the car and taking all sorts of different lines. So allowed a lot of opportunities for these guys to make moves. I think it was Brian Hacker that maybe said before we got going here that there was an opportunities to make passes here at Irwindale, and he was definitely right about that as we see guys that came all the way through the field like Brian Johnson and Austin Williams.
It definitely was a good race here as we've got everyone just looking for the race winner who's getting unbuckled here. I think I got him.
I think you do. I see him there. He's just about ready.
All right, Kelly, you're down there. I believe you have tonight's race winner as he climbs out of the car.
Yeah, catching up now with Dante Curtis after that race win there. Dante, what was it like those last few laps? I mean, it looked like you were going to be dominating this entire race, but then suddenly you had 2 other guys challenge you for that whole last run.
Yeah, Brian and G were really good there at the end. I mean, they were really good all race. The only thing that was helping me make it look a little better early was somehow in them restarts I was able to get a little decent gap, and once I had the gap I was good, but they were really tough there at the end. He'd be better than me in 1 and 2, 1 lap, you know, I'd be better. We were trading.
Well, we saw a few cars imitating the Formula Drift guys here at Irwindale. What was it like for you with the tires on this car?
Oh, it was super slippery out there, but just the whole time, the whole mindset I had was don't slide them, don't slide them. As long as you don't slide them, the car felt pretty good and stable, and just kept my momentum up pretty good that way.
Well, we saw the line evolving throughout the night. Do you feel like you were having to search for grip out there?
Yeah, in 1 and 2, I still don't know what I need to do to be fast in 1 and 2 after 125 laps. Brian and G I'd say they were better than me in 1 and 2, but whatever I was doing in 3 and 4 kind of nullified that. So there's still a little bit out there for me to find, but we'll see.
All right, well, that is pretty much going to do it here for us tonight at Irwindale. Next week, we're going to be moving on to Langley, but before we let you go, who would you like to thank for your race win here tonight?
First off, I just got to thank all the guys back at DCD Racing, aka Broke Down Racing. Phil, he's had back surgery. Good to have him back with us. Dustin, all the guys. Got to thank all the guys at the NSRL for giving us an awesome place to race. You guys for a great broadcast. Really enjoy having y'all. And thanks to my dad watching back at home.
All right, that is going to be it for your race winner here tonight. Dante Curtis, congratulations once again, and hopefully we'll hear from you again next week at Langley.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Now I'm going to send it to Al, who I believe is going to be caught up with the second place finisher tonight with Brian Hacker.
Yeah, we're down here with the driver of that Austin Designs number 2. He's looking over this race car, Brian, and just trying to find that little extra that you need to get up there to get the Dante come home second to a great battle all race long, kept it up front. This thing doesn't have a dent on it.
Yeah, it was a good run for us. Wish we could have gotten up there and battled for the lead. Dante kept it just far enough in front of us. I'd get a run, I'd make up a couple tenths and get up close to his bumper, and then I'd slip and fall back, and then have to make it all back up. And he was pretty consistent. He more or less has owned this track in this league, so we knew that he was going to be the guy to beat. I thought we might have had something for him tonight, but certainly not going to be upset with the second.
Coming home second place, a good result here. We head to Langley in 1 week's time. That's a flat little bull ring. Tonight we saw 3, 4, 5 wide, and if we get that at Langley, that'll be surprising. But outlook for the rest of the season as we already roll into week number 3 in 1 week's time.
Yeah, I think Langley will be certainly different than tonight. Tonight, Irwindale races almost like a dirt track, and that's why I love it. It's a lot of fun. You can run up high, you can run down low. You can't just throw it in there and bash the throttle. You got to be pretty delicate with the throttle. Langley's going to be the same way in terms of throttle control. You're not going to be able to just send it in there and pray that it sticks. You're going to have to do a little bit of finessing to get around the corners. But we're certainly not going to be 3 or 4 wide next week. It's going to be everybody's going to want to be on the bottom line. Choose cone's going to be very interesting. You're going to see probably twice as many people go to the bottom as the top. So it'll be fun nonetheless, just a totally different style of racing.
Well, we look forward to seeing it, and we know that you'll always put on a good show here. The car's always looking great. I know you got some people behind the scenes here to thank.
Yeah, Scott Austin Designs. We've got a number of different rides that we like to bring out for these races. He does a really good job. If you're in the need or in the want for a paint or a wrap or a logo design or whatever it may be, contact Scott. He had a pretty decent run, top 10, so good for him tonight. Boulder Beer Bar, Aberdeen Lodge, Carbon Junction, you guys for doing this, the admins at NSRL for putting this league on. And congrats to Dante, good run to G. It was a lot of fun running up front. It was crazy. For the most part, everybody was pretty clean. A few bumpers or fenders here and there, but it's a lot of fun when we can do this with people that we enjoy racing around.
Well, congratulations, Brian. We look forward to seeing you in 1 week's time. But until then, buddy, keep it wheels down, and good luck in the rest of your racing endeavors.
Thanks, Al. Appreciate it.
There you go, Brian Hacker, the driver out of Huntley, Illinois, coming home in spot number 2. And, a fellow Canadian you're familiar with, Kelly, comes home in P number 3.
Yeah, caught up now with Guillaume Vertain, our third place finisher. Guillaume, looked like there was a lot of different ways that you could pass drivers, and there was a few times you were a little bit further in the field. I mean, how was it for you kind of getting past a few of these guys?
Oh, it was a learning for me all the race. It's one of the first time I've ran this car in such a long time, so I'm not used to that car. So I tried to learn from Dante when he was leading and I was second, and I didn't run the bottom too much in practice, so it was hard for me to make passes out there, but I made it work. Sometime really close with other people, but the bottom was so good when you didn't spin the tires. So, but I'm happy with the result tonight with that car.
Well, at least from the booth, all these restarts looked super chaotic as everyone kind of fanned out through 1 and 2 on those first few laps. What was it like for you in the driver's seat?
Oh, it's hard because you don't know if when you're 3 wide, if the guy in the middle is gonna go low or up high, and so it's hard to tell. And I got pretty close to getting wrecked at one time on the restart, but gladly we made it alive and brought it on P3.
All right, next week we are going along to Langley, and how are you feeling about your chances there at that track?
Oh, I'm still gonna have to learn that track with those cars. I'm not used to them, so I'll have to practice this week. But hopefully we can get the same result and hopefully try to get a repeat championship with the street stock.
Well, Guillaume, I think you're very familiar with how things go here on Turn 3, so before we let you go, who would you like to thank for your run tonight?
Yeah, I have to thank everybody on the car I have. It's everybody from Quebec and our real racing world. They're the one making it possible. So Optimetal 360, Gestion LPG, Boudreau VR, all those guys, they're the one making it possible. And for the CMU guys for broadcasting and the NSRL and mid-team for putting up this league.
All right, thank you so much for coming and talking to us, Guillaume. Hopefully we'll hear from you next week in Langley.
Hopefully, thank you.
That is Guillaume Fortin, our third place finisher here tonight, but now we're going to send it back up to Al to kind of close it out for the night.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly, and thank you to all of our competitors and fans watching out there for the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series here for the North-South Racing League. We want to thank everyone behind the scenes, as in 1 week's time, next Monday night, we'll be live right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network from the Langley Speedway. But until then, Kelly, I mean, tonight, couldn't have asked for a better feature event. 125 laps, a minimum amount of cautions, a lot of strategy coming out in play, and Dante Curtis collecting his 4th career win here at Irwindale. Next week, like I said, Langley, one of my personal favorite racetracks. It's one of those tracks we got to be patient. I think we're going to see that chrome horn come out. We might see a 3rd different winner on the season. Curtis will have to come from the tail of the field, assuming he makes the field. But until then, Kelly, I want to thank you for coming on out, being a part of the broadcast, and thank you for watching here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. It's been a pleasure bringing you all tonight's racing action as Dante Curtis picks up the win in the Dan Janjanin 22, the rest of us 125 here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Until next week, everybody, we'll see you in turn number 3. Good night.